tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your number one source in after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzzers. My name is Jillian Leff, here to bring you another special presentation of AfterBuzz TV's Spotlight On. Now, tonight, we have a lady who's connected to TV in a different way. I'll tell you that a little bit later. Kathryn Gallagher is a singer, songwriter, 90s fashion aficionado, animal lover. The list goes on, but she's here, and we're happy to have you.
I'm so happy to be here. That was the best introduction that I've ever gotten.
You know, I was thinking, how could I outdo myself on this one? Gotta throw in the 90s fashion.
I've got my scrunchie right here, and my beads.
She's ready. I'm surprised you didn't wear flannel today.
I almost did, and then I was just like, my mom won't like it. I gotta call later.
Kathryn.
Dress like a lady.
Oh, well, you look very nice today.
Thank you.
I
showered.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was smelling some freshness.
Oh, I tried. I tried.
So we're here today because you have some new music coming out very soon. But before we get to that, I kind of want to dig a little bit deeper so the fans can get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
How would your no, it's not. No, it's not. I know that your parents are watching, so you have to answer this accurately.
Yes.
How would they describe you as a kid?
Oh God, I love attention. I think I was I could be very, very shy, but at the same time, even when I was like being shy, it would be like, everybody pay attention to me. I'm being shy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was definitely just like always singing, always performing, always putting on a show, whether or not anybody was like down to watch or be a part of it. But yeah, I was definitely like an enthusiastic little strange. I had a vivid imagination. I used to be very, very, very convinced. Like I found this journal entry about a year ago, and it was like from I think when I was 8 years old, and it says, "Dear Diary, I now know that I am not a mermaid." Big revelation here. But I do know that I am special and that I am meant to live in the water.
Okay.
Love, Kathryn. Like that was it. Like that was like, and it was like this big confessional. And so I was a strange kid.
Okay. I mean, eccentric.
Yeah.
I think you're still like that now. No, not weird.
I don't know. I'll take it.
No.
I'll wear it.
We'll use eccentric.
Badge of honor.
Were you musical when you were a kid?
Oh God, yeah. I would like sing everything. When we were driving the car when I was like a little kid, like 2 years old, my mom would be like, "Okay, Kathryn, like write a song about a bus." And I'd be like, bus. Like, I don't know what I would do, but yeah, I was always singing. Yeah.
That's good, though.
Wouldn't shut up.
Things haven't changed.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
So, I don't know if the fans know this, but I know this because I know Kathryn.
Yes.
So, your dad...
Yes.
He is just, he had this little role in a show
Very
that
small.
really shaped a lot of our teen years.
Yes.
Sandy Cohen on the OC, Peter Gallagher.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Heard of him.
You've heard of him. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
sure. I'm sure.
Yes.
The dinner table.
Big eyebrows.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say, the eyebrows are a dead giveaway. You both have beautiful brows.
Runs in the fam.
Beautiful brows.
Thank you.
So did he kind of freak out when he realized that you were going to be in the public eye, or you wanted to be in the public eye like him?
Yes and no. When he was always very strict kind of about like, you've got one chance to have a childhood.
Right.
And you're gonna have it. So they didn't want me to audition and do anything, but I remember when I was 13 years old, I saw online, I was like so desperate to start working, and I just kind of started getting in the studio and recording things, but it was very like, homemade.
Let's play.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah. And but I found this audition online for Camp Rock. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is perfect for me. Like, this role was written for me.
Right.
And I like ran downstairs and I forwarded the email and I was like, Mom, Dad, they wrote this movie for me and I have to audition.
So you're talking about Demi Lovato's part.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great.
I was so convinced that this was like my big break. Mm-hmm. And they were like, oh, that's nice. No thanks. Like, be a kid. I begged and begged and begged them. Kept saying no. So I wrote this song called I'm Okay to my dad that was basically about like, I know, like, I'm going to do it anyway.
Right.
And he was like, well, lost cause. Like, she's doing this whether we want her to or not. And they're the most supportive parents in the world. So I got very, very lucky.
Do you think that, growing up with your dad in the spotlight, it sort of shaped your songwriting in any way? Like, did you feel something maybe different than other kids felt?
I don't know, because it's all I've ever felt. Mm-hmm. But I don't think so. I think that, I think the most valuable thing that I could have gotten just by being around this industry in general is that I think it's easy to look at the entertainment industry kind of from the outside and say, what a glamorous thing. Right. Or that person, oh, they just got lucky. Like, that was overnight success. Mm-hmm. And like, living in its proximity makes you really realize that that's so not true. And it's like the most false thing that if you're seeing someone on TV or making a record or in a movie, they have worked so incredibly hard to get there and they deserve it whether or not anyone agrees. Right. And it kind of makes you look at your own work and say, all right, how can I work harder than anybody else? Mm-hmm. Or how can I do the very best work that I can do, because that's the only way that I'll be able to do this, to do what I want, is to work hard. And It doesn't matter who my dad is or who,
right,
who you meet at a bar, who, wants to rep you or whatever. You got to do your own work, put in your hours. And that's a lesson that I think everybody eventually learns. But that is the most valuable lesson that I think probably learned quickly just by seeing, my dad have to every single day work so hard. Right. And everybody that he knows and his friends, and it's just part of it. It's never ending.
So wise, Miss Gallagher. So wise. So wise.
Yes.
What was the first song that you were really proud of writing?
Oh, good question.
Because I know you've written so many.
I've written a lot of songs.
But the one that really resonates with you so far?
It's, the first song or the one out of all of them?
Let's go with the first. The first one that you're really proud of, yeah.
I would say that was probably I'm Okay. Mm-hmm. The one that I wrote for my dad and telling him, like, too bad, Dad. Right. I'm fine. But yeah, it was that one. I wrote with such a purpose and I was like, this is how I feel, like I want to do this, whatever. And that, I think, was the first time that I really felt like I accomplished saying what I wanted to, which is,
it's all you can ask for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How would you categorize your music?
It's pop music. Mm-hmm. It's pop music, but I think you can definitely tell that I pulled a lot from rock and blues.
I think you're soulful.
Ooh, thank you.
You got some grit.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. People have been telling me that I sound like I've been smoking cigarettes since I was like 2. Like, when I was 2 years old, they were like, "Has she been drinking?"
Yeah, you just have like your scotch and cigar sitting off to the side.
Exactly.
And your kids.
My voice has gotten less raspy. There's a video of me singing "Reflection." When I was like 7 years old, and my voice is just like so raspy and cool, and now I'm like, where'd it go?
What happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Okay. What was your first gig like? The one that you booked? What was that like for you? Because I feel like that's the game changer, when you're out in front of people that aren't your family and friends.
It was crazy. I had all these demos that that were just kind of like sitting on my computer. I put them on MySpace, and I was just like, all right, what's next? I was 15. And so I wrote to, when I tell you, like, every single venue in Los Angeles, like, really not an exaggeration. And like every Craigslist, like I was just like, hey, I'm Kathryn, I'm 15.
Oh wait, you didn't like, you weren't like, Dear Diary.
I wasn't, no more Dear Diary.
Okay.
No, I was like, hello internet.
Yes.
I would like to sing for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote to I got a response back from a wedding dress fashion show.
Okay.
Which I took the meeting for. I was like really close to doing. Mm-hmm. And but I ended up, the whiskey wrote back to me. Mm-hmm. And they were like, yeah, here's like a date you can have. And I walked into the living room. I was like, hey mom, hey dad, I just want to let you know, like, I'm playing the whiskey on March 15th. And they were like, that's nice, sweetie. Like, it was the same thing as like when I was 4 years old. I walked in and I was like, hey mom, hey dad, I'm playing Madison Square Garden on Saturday. Yeah. Like, and they were like, okay, yeah. So they but then they like got a call and they were like, oh my God, she really did this. Okay, yeah, let's deal with this. And then we did, and you know, I got a band together, and I just remember I had like, in my mind, it was the most obvious next step. It was like, oh yeah, obviously, like, I'll just get a band, play a show, invite all my friends, like, have a show with whiskey. Like, yeah, that's what you do.
And I'll be a star.
It's like an afternoon activity. Mm-hmm. And then you get a record deal, and then you go on a world tour, and then you're Taylor Swift. Like, that was, like, in my mind, I was like, yes, this is how it works. Mm-hmm. And it obviously, like, didn't go, like, exactly like that.
Right.
But that's okay. But yeah, so it was definitely, I remember that day, and I got my hair done. I was like, this is the biggest night of my life. Mm-hmm. I ditched prom, but this show was like, yes.
Yes, this is it.
Yeah, and it was... I just remember having everything so planned out that I think in the middle of the show I like blacked out. I was like, I remember seeing everyone lined up outside and then playing the show, then being done with it and being like, all right, when's the next one? Yeah. Like, I was like ready to go.
Let's do this.
Yeah, so it was like, it was crazy. It was just a weird blur of a night.
So you're basically a pro. It's the true sign of a pro.
Major pro.
You just didn't sweat at all.
I didn't. Now that I look back at when I look back at myself from like 13 to like 16, I like get nervous for myself. I'm like, I had balls of steel and I don't know where they went.
You're just like a unicorn. You didn't care.
I was just like,
let's make this happen. Okay, so I've listened to a couple of your old songs. Yes. I've listened to one of your new songs, which you are all going to hear very soon. But I want to know how your sound has changed because you said that your music for this EP is very story driven. Yes. So was it always that way, or is this sort of like you're turning a new leaf?
It's a bit of both. I think it's always naturally been that way, but for a few years in there, I was like, oh, well, like Ellie Goulding is like doing really well, like, and I love her music, so I should do that.
Right.
And I love like this song, so I should do that, rather than recognizing that you can love something without it being necessarily the thing that you should do. And so I was like fighting with myself and what I was naturally doing for a long time. And I was like, I need to have like a really sick beat and like really cool this and cool vocal effects and all this stuff. And then I was wondering why it was really hard for me to write that when like writing folk songs and rock songs was like came so naturally, and I was like, this is annoying, like, oh, I don't want to write this anymore.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, maybe I should just keep doing what I'm naturally doing and investigating that part. And then it just kind of happened. But yeah, in terms of like story driven stuff, I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand. That's, I think, why I love country music so much, is because there's such great stories in all of it. And I think songwriting for me has always been a place of, it's like this safe haven for saying what you can't in any other place. And for example, the song I Don't Want You to Know, which you'll hear in a second, is exactly what songwriting is for. It's like all of these memories that I had and these vivid moments that to me told this big story about, feeling something and then still not being able to tell and whatever, and that song gave that story a place to live. And that was the most exhilarating feeling, is having this thing that you can't say anywhere else except for granted, like maybe like releasing the song is like not the best way to like keep anybody from like finding out. So like,
but it's never stopped you before.
Never. Never. But yeah, so I love stories and songs. Yeah.
Well, I think that's the most natural segue, ladies and gentlemen. Kathryn has been so kind to premiere her song today on AfterBuzz. So here's I Don't Want You to Know off of her EP, I'm Fine, out September 16th.
Yes,
So soon.
so
Let's take a listen, guys. Turn up the volume.
Jaywalking across Santa Monica through back alleys, looking for your car. Frustration rose red in your cheeks, but I've got no complaints when you're next to me. Top down, I'm in your passenger seat, and I'm praying for more time, but we hit every green in the morning. I'll be on my way to Austin, we'll be touching down in London, please remember me. But I don't want you to know that I miss you, and I don't want you to see it on my face, and I don't want you to know that I need you. I don't want you to know unless you say you feel the same. Remember how on that very first night the door was locked, so I waited outside. You caught my eye like a neon sign. You took a permanent marker, wrote your name in my mind. I'm back in the room that we met, making small talk with friends. We all will forget you left a picture on the wooden chest. I fake a smile you'd call me out on and throw one back. 'Cause I don't want you to know that I miss you, and I don't want you to see it on my face, and I don't want you to know that I need you. I don't want you to know unless you'll say you feel the same. Feel the same. Feel the same. Feel the same. I don't want you to know that I miss you, and I don't want you to say it on my face, and I don't want you to know, baby, I need you, and I don't want you to know unless you'll say you feel the same. Feel the same. Do you feel the same? Feel the same. Do you feel the same?
So that was I Don't Want You to Know, which, surprise, it's on SoundCloud now, so you can stream it. The link will be on my Twitter as soon as we end this. and
Yeah, and I'll see if we can also put the link in the description to the video.
Stream it, share it, send it,
It's gonna be big.
tell your mom.
I feel it. I was saying to Kathryn off camera, the guitar, I'm gonna call it the guitar chug because I'm
I
not a
love it.
musician,
That
so
makes
I don't
total
know
sense.
the technical term, but it reminded me of early Dolly Parton. And Kathryn almost
I freaked out.
She did freak out a little bit.
The dude that mixed my record is mixing her record right now, and I like to say that was. I mean, he's mixed like so many records that I'm such a fan of, but like when I heard Dolly Parton, I'm like,
No way.
She's just the tits.
Well, speaking of the album, since we're on the theme of it,
Yes.
I want to hear a little bit about the making of it. So you went to Nashville for a little bit, yes?
I did. So I right actually before I left for Nashville, a friend of a friend who had come to see one of my shows had this friend Michael Blue, and she was like, hey, like, you know, he's produced Colby Caillat's record, and I just, you guys should just meet and talk. And I was like, oh, of course, like, that's really nice. I know this stuff never happens, but thank you. You know, like, that was really sweet. Right. And then she texted me, she was like, hey, like 9 a.m. on Tuesday, can you meet Michael? And I was like, really?
That's the most non-LA thing I've heard all day.
Well, exactly. I was like, are you sure? Did you send this to the right person? And then we met and like just played music for a few hours and just got along so well. And that was 2 days before I left for Nashville, which I had already been planning on doing. And my plan in Nashville, I was going there and to stay with and meet a bunch of people. I was staying with Steve Cropper, who is just a legend. He's, you know, he wrote Sitting on the Dock of the Bay and In the Midnight Hour, and he's one of just the best guitarists of all time, and he had worked with my dad before and had heard stuff I was doing and invited me to Nashville. And when I got there, he took me in the studio and we wrote together a bit.
No big deal.
I know, I literally, we were writing together and I was just sitting there, I was like, oh my God, like, this is, if nothing else happens in my life, right, like, this is gonna be the peak. This is so incredible. And so I kind of had this month in Nashville before we went back to start recording the record where I was working with Cropper and seeing all this live music where I did most of my writing, which is where I wrote I Don't Want You to Know. And I just kind of, there's this very beautiful, brilliant simplicity to the writing in Nashville, which is a thing that I think I've always kind of been going for, because there's something so special about when a song says something that you've been trying to express for years, and then they say it in like a line and you're like, really? I've been trying to figure that one out forever. Yeah. And that was like, I realized such a style and such a craft. There was such a songwriting craft in Nashville. So I spent all that time learning from Cropper and seeing these shows and getting better at it, at writing, and really paying attention to the lyrics and the sounds and all of these things. And then I came back kind of with this arsenal of songs, and I went to Michael and I was like, he's like, hey, do you have like 5 songs you think you might want to do? I was like, oh yeah, I have 30. I'll send them to you. and then we just worked through it and demoed a bunch, and then picked 5 to track. And working with Michael is like the most incredible thing, because there was this real kind of, I think, respect for one another, and we got to talk through everything, and he's so talented and has a real respect for the song, which was kind of the only genre I was going for, was exactly what each individual song required. I was like blindly hoping it would just like sound cohesive. Right. And so fingers crossed. Yeah. But let me know. But yeah, so I think we just kind of spent like a month and a half every day in the studio tracking. We got some of the most incredible players I've ever like been in a room with to play on this record, which was crazy. And then Mark Needham to mix it, and just we had this incredible team that kind of came together so organically that eventually it was just like done. And then just like sitting in my email, and I was like, whoa, how'd you get here? What?
What is the studio like for you, though? Is it therapeutic? Because that's what a lot of artists say. You know, they're sort of like leave whatever they have going on in the studio. How do you work? Because you are your own boss. So are you like, when you're in the studio, are you business? Are you relaxed? Are you like, what do you feel?
That's a really good question. I never liked the studio up until doing this record. I dreaded it. It always felt like this place where I didn't know anything, and I felt sort of inadequate, and I was just like, oh, you guys are the musicians, like I just wrote it, like you guys, you know what you do.
Right.
Like, and I felt just like so small. And working with Michael, I was like, oh, like I did write these songs, and I do have ideas, and like they're valuable. And so as soon as I kind of got comfortable in it, it became this very exciting place where everything that I heard in my head could be a reality. And I was like, you guys listen to like, and it's this thing that we do. This is awesome. And then it became this just incredible like sanctuary of like going in and you know, Michael and I are super close, and so these songs were super fresh, so the feelings were still fresh, and sometimes you go in to record a song and you don't know how you're gonna feel afterwards. Like for I Don't Want You to Know was like a surprisingly sad song to record, and you know, there's I'll Be Yours, which is one of the tracks, which is kind of the piano ballad on the record, is like that was this very quiet day. And then we did a song called I Hope She Loves You, which is this very angry song on the record, which was like the most fun day because that was like, yes,
You're finally getting it out.
This. Yeah. So it's each day was kind of different and brought in a different energy. And then, so it was just this awesome kind of fluid, beautiful place to spend time.
Well, I know everyone is super excited for it. So September 16th, guys. Kathryn, you're also doing some release shows, right?
I am. September 16th at Bar Lubitsch, 8 p.m. So that's LA. And then New York, October 8th, 9 p.m. It's Wednesday night at Rockwood.
And that's not only that you don't have that going on. There are other things going on besides just your music, right?
Yes. Yes, I'm doing a very, very, very special musical right now.
Okay, tell us about that, please.
I am doing Spring Awakening, which is, of course, just the best show in the world. But I'm doing it with Deaf West Theater. So our production is completely accessible to both hearing audiences and deaf audiences. So our whole show is... it's the full show of Spring Awakening. You hear all the songs, you hear all the words. It's Spring Awakening, but everything is also done in ASL. And we're actually playing the reality of the kids in the show being deaf. So what it would be like in 1890 in Germany is they would actually teach deaf kids they wouldn't teach sign language. Right. They would be like, speak like this and read my lips. And it's like that
doesn't work that way.
That's just ignoring an entire language, an entire culture. And so it takes this show, which is already about the tragedy that can happen when there is a lack of communication between, you know, a mother and daughter or a father and son. And it takes it to this new place of when you speak a different language, it's, you know, if you can't ignore differences and you can't ignore that. And and I think the most incredible thing besides working on this show, which is my favorite show, and it's cool, I'm in the band, so I'm voicing for a deaf actress, which is also an incredible experience, kind of bonding with someone and trying to morph into this one human being. And it's hard, and I get to play guitar and feel super badass with like my electric, and I'm like, this is cool.
Awesome.
But it's I remember walking in the first day of rehearsal and being really nervous because it's the first day of any rehearsal, and you're like, it's scary.
Right.
And then I remember like seeing half of the cast signing and being like, oh my God, this is number one, the most beautiful language I've ever seen. And number two, I don't know how to talk to anyone. And that was this terrifying feeling where I was like, what if I never talk to them? And like, and this, I hate this. And I don't know, like, what do we do? And it was this like kind of panic. And then all of a sudden it was like, you can communicate so much without saying anything. And that, as a songwriter who like thinks about words all the time, it was like, we can have a conversation with like a look, and I know what you're saying. And that, this whole show has just been this crazy lesson on communication and just so fun. And I'm learning ASL, which is so cool. I had everyone over last night. We were signing, and I was like, I'm getting it slowly. But yeah, but it's, so we open September 13th at Inner City Arts downtown, and we're in previews all this week. So deafwest.org, you can get your tickets. And Thursday to Sunday we have shows until the end of October, and I don't know, maybe more if you like it. We'll see.
No, that's amazing. I mean, you had told me off camera that Deaf West is sort of like the Broadway for the deaf community. So this is a big deal, guys.
This is Deaf West. They brought Big River. Well, our director Michael Arden was in Big River, which I think their first musical that they brought to Broadway, and it was this huge success. And Michael, who's directing the show, his vision is like, it's ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, he's such a genius. And Spencer Liff, who you've had on AfterBuzz, he's a choreographer on So You Think You Can Dance, is our choreographer for the show, and he's the best. I mean, the team that we have in this show is, it's incredible. Like, we're so lucky. Deaf West is the coolest theater company in the world. The entire team. I mean, we're just surrounded by the most beautiful people in the world.
So you're a busy girl.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to have some fun towards the end of the interview. I want to ask you some random questions.
Oh, no.
I want to hear the first thing that comes to your mind.
Hi.
The first CD you ever owned.
Oh, Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
No, Hanson. It was Hanson.
Hanson?
It was Mbop. It was
Okay.
the one that, yeah.
Okay.
That was jam.
Album you can listen to on repeat.
Oh, anything Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Just the Taylor Swift, like, artist thing in my iPod.
How are you feeling about Shake It Off?
I love it.
Me too.
I was having the worst week, and I saw that music video, and I was like, oh, I'm good now. I'm good.
An artist you just don't understand.
Ooh, very interesting. Very interesting.
Because it's not that you don't like them. It's just
Right,
that you
one
maybe
that I,
don't
like,
understand
don't
what they're
get.
doing.
This is such a good one. I think, well, this is a fun one. It's someone that I love in the realest way. Miley Cyrus. Half of the things she does, I'm like, I don't get it, but I love it.
But okay.
It's like, she's the coolest girl. She's doing exactly what she wants. Like, there's nothing cooler than that. I don't get it at all sometimes. I'm like, yeah,
Okay.
way to go.
Someone who you think is timeless.
Oh, okay, that's good. I think, well, again, Taylor Swift, I think she's timeless. I think her writing is timeless. I think John Mayer, I think Ed Sheeran,
Ed.
I have the realest love for.
An artist that you could compare yourself to.
Ooh, good question. I've been listening to a lot of Lissy. And I like everything that she does. I mean, I admire her so much, so I don't want to like be like, oh yeah,
Right.
two peas in the pod. But she's definitely someone that I'm like, that's a path I really admire.
Okay. So we are an after show network, and we're
Yes.
obsessed with TV. So I want to know what you're obsessed with right now.
Okay. Well, me and my roommate we're major TV watchers. We don't go out much. We love watching our shows. I just finished How I Met Your Mother. We watched The Killing a bunch, but my all-time favorite show, which we've been talking about, is Law & Order SVU, which my dad just got an arc on. Literally, it's the coolest thing. Oh my God. It's so cool. I've seen every single, when I told my dad that, I was like, I've seen every single episode. He was like, you know there are 15 seasons, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I know. Because I've seen all of them. It's the best show on television.
I'm so jealous.
I'm like,
I can't wait for it. It's going to be great.
today was his first day on set, and he sent me a picture with him and Rishka, and I was like, it's so cool.
Geeking out.
I know.
Hopefully you'll get to see her when you go to New York to play your show.
Fingers crossed.
I
will be
thinking
visiting
about
that
you.
set no matter
Yeah.
what. I'll be like, hey guys, it's me.
Hey, what's up? I have eyebrows like your dad. Hi.
Do you recognize me?
Okay, what was the last thing you Googled?
Oh God. Probably How to Get Here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to do outside of the studio?
Oh. Watch TV. Like, I feel like I've been so busy lately that like the idea of sitting on my couch and like ordering from yummy.com, like inappropriate grocery store. I feel like because do you use yummy.com?
No, but I've heard of
It's
it.
like delivery groceries.
Okay.
And so like I feel like there's something very blind about like being able to just like do it on your computer and like order just like the worst things
Whatever
that
you
you would
want.
never, you'd be so embarrassed to do any other time. But I've been doing that, and last night I ordered from Yummy, and the guy that delivered was actually our neighbor 2 doors down. And he was like, I live 2 doors down. And I was like, oh my God. And he was like, yeah, like we like always play music. I was like, oh, you guys are the cool dudes in the band. And I was like,
Whoops.
So sorry.
You know what, Kathryn? Write a song about it.
I will.
About the yummy guy.
And now
the yummy neighbor.
Now he knows that I ordered like Cool Whip late last night. Like, oops.
Cool Whip late night.
Yeah.
I got it. Your dream collaboration.
Ed Sheeran. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be delicious.
Yeah, I would love that. Or John Mayer. Because he's a genius.
What would you do if you couldn't sing?
Good question. I think I would probably act. Does that count?
I guess.
But if I couldn't do anything in entertainment, I would probably teach. I love teaching. I teach, songwriting to kids in theater, and that's like the most rewarding feeling in the world.
Amazing.
So probably that.
Well,
Or cook.
Ooh.
Duh. Make bomb salted caramel macaroons. I will make you some. They're very good.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to it.
This is the one thing I'll brag about because they're very good. Very, very good.
All right, guys, so we found out today that Kathryn is a baker. She's a singer. She's amazing and vivacious. And we're so happy that we could have her here today. Kathryn, where can the fans find you?
Twitter at Kathryn G, Kathryn G. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud. Twitter's the easiest because that's where I have the links to all the other things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Once again, guys, my name is Jillian Leff. So excited to sit down with you,
Thank you
sweetie.
for having me.
You can find me on Twitter at Jillian Leff, on Instagram at Jillian Leff, and that's all I have today. Enjoy her song, guys. Download it off of SoundCloud. See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.